there are very few canonized women in the list of saints in the Roman Church or even the Orthodox churches. And many of these women who are canonized are simple nuns who lived a life of austerity, of asceticism behind cloister walls. Very few of the women were outspoken women who were involved in social change, in struggles for justice or for truth. One of these women is Catherine of Siena, a Dominican tertiary, a laywoman, a woman who stayed in the world and joined this group called the Third Order of the Dominicans. And in her prayer, it soon became apparent to her that she was being called by God to find God among the people. So she left her family's home. People began to gather around her. She taught the people. She was a spiritual director for souls. And towards the end of her life, she became involved even in church politics. This is the 14th century, when the popes had left Rome and gone to southern France. They were living in incredible comfort in Avignon. And to pay for their comfort, they were selling offices in the church. They were selling relics. They were selling all sorts of sacred things in order to get money to maintain their lifestyle. Clement VII said, if the King of England wants me to name his donkey a bishop, all he has to do is ask me. It's a joke, but it shows how little they thought of the sacred things that were entrusted to them. And this woman, who lived at a time when there was not just one pope, but 2 or even 3 popes because of schism, got herself involved trying to find a way to purify the Roman Church when so much corruption was the rule. She got the Pope Gregory the 11th, to go back to Rome. After all, he's the Bishop of Rome. What is he doing living in southern France? The last 2 years of her life, she spent trying to get Urban VI from slaughtering his enemies. He was one of the meanest, nastiest popes in all of history. That wore her out so terribly. She was a young woman in her 30s. She was in old St. Peter's, which was torn down, the basilica built by Constantine. And in that basilica, there was a mosaic of the apostles in a boat, and the boat represented the church. It seemed to her, as she prayed in front of that mosaic, that the boat came off the image onto her shoulders and crushed her with its weight. A very potent symbol that as she had struggled with the institutional church to reform it, the struggle itself crushed her. A couple of weeks later, she died. So as I painted this image of Catherine, I placed on her shoulder not a little fishing boat, but the equivalent of an ocean liner for her century. And not a simple cross in the sail that would have represented the Church of Christ, but the Church of the Popes with the papal coat of arms crushing her. It becomes a symbol of so many people like Dorothy Day, like people without even names that we remember, who have struggled to remain faithful to the church, to help purify the church, to be truthful to the gospel, even as they struggle with the corruption or the injustice.